Testing, testing. 1, 2. You got it, Axel? Cool.
(2014) Kettleers Kettleers baseball hits the air in 3, 2, 1.
Wiseman hits that out into deep right field. Pickens goes back on it. He's at the wall. Gone! A 3-run bomb by Rhett Wiseman. And this game is tied at 7-1. Stubbs is going to send that one into right field. And the Kettleers will live to see another day. Game 3 is tomorrow.
2014 Kettleers baseball plays here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Now with the Kettleers warm-up, here's Greg Mraz.
It's the second Sunday doubleheader of the year as the Brewster Whitecaps come to town for a pair of 2 7-inning ball games against the Kettleers. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Greg Mraz here with you from Lowell Park here in Kettleers, Massachusetts. It was a rough day for the Kettleers yesterday, dropping a 9-1 game at Red Wilson Field to the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. Kettleers struggled mightily in that game. They gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning. They gave up 1 run in the 7th, and then gave up an abysmal 4 runs, count it 5, in the bottom of the 8th inning. And that was pretty much all she wrote. There was a sequence where the Kettleers had loaded the bases up, or the YD Red Sox had loaded the bases up against the Kettleers. A hit by pitch of leadoff man Andrew Stevenson brought in a run to score. That made it 5-1. Then while Donnie Walton was at the plate, 3 consecutive wild pitches scored Brennan Lund, Vincent Jackson, and Andrew Stevenson to make it 8-1. The Red Sox would tack on 1 more to make it 9-1. And that was pretty much all she wrote in terms of yesterday's ball game. The Kettleers have lost 4 in a row coming into today's ball game. They have given up the majority of their runs in the 3rd inning, as we brought up on the broadcast yesterday. They've given up 14 runs so far on the season in the 3rd inning, and the Kettleers are still pitching well. They've given up only 28 runs on the season, but 14 of them coming in that 3rd inning. So half of the runs on this season have been given up in the 3rd inning so far this season. That's a trend that needs to change. Today's starting pitcher in Game 1 for the Kettleers is Logan James. He's a left-hander from Stanford University down on the farm in Palo Alto, California. He came in a relief appearance in the game against Orleans on Friday. Pitched a scoreless inning, was pretty much perfect from the get-go. On the season at Stanford, Logan James had a 3-4 record of 5.31 ERA, 8 starts, 24 appearances. He pitched 61 innings, gave up 36 earned runs, 42 strikeouts to 32 walks, a 1.27 strikeout to walk ratio, and a 1.39 whip. Those are numbers that need to improve if he is going to become an elite pitcher for the Stanford Cardinal. But more importantly, he needs to be the stopper for the Kettleers today. It's been a game and a season of streaks. Kettleers started off on a 2-game losing streak. They then won 4 in a row by beating YD here a week ago Saturday, sweeping a doubleheader against the Chatham Anglers, and then winning on Monday in a makeup game, or I should say, winning on Tuesday against the Bourne Braves here. That way, 4 in a row, and then the Kettleers have dropped 4 in a row, losing Wednesday at Doran Park to Bourne by a 5-4 final, then dropping a game here at Lowell Park, 8-3 to Wareham Gatemen, then getting shut out 3-0 by the Orleans Firebirds in what was considered one of the best combined pitching efforts of the season. And then there was yesterday at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth, Jackson McClellan getting tagged for 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd, and then the wheels falling off in what turned out to be the death inning the bottom of the 8th for the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox, in which they scored 5 of the 9 runs in which they tallied on the day. Last season was not a good one for the Brewster Whitecaps. They came in last place in the Eastern Division and missed out on the playoffs. So far this season, John Altobelli's squad is off to a good start. They are 5-5, and get this, friends. If they win one of 2 games here today, it will be the first time that the Brewster Whitecaps have won a ball game at Lowell Park since, get this, 2004. So 10 years winless at Lowell Park. Kettleers swept the Whitecaps here in both games last season. As you know, the Kettleers lost one of their 2 games out at Stony Brook Elementary Field last year in a game that was called due to darkness. Stony Brook Elementary and Lowell Park, 2 yards that do not have lights. The starting pitcher in Game 2 for the Kettleers today, and we will preview that more as we approach the second game in the intermission show following the first game and previewing the second game here from Lowell Park, will be Vince Fiore, the left-hander from South Carolina. He went 1-0 on the season in 17 appearances at South Carolina, a 1.37 ERA, 19 2/3 innings pitched. He gave up 3 earned runs on the season, walked 10 guys, struck out 18, a whip of 1.22, and so far this season in Cotuit, Fiore, who is a temporary player, has only pitched 1 inning in 1 game. It was scoreless. He gave up a hit, he walked 1, and he struck out 1 in Game 2 of the doubleheader at Chatham a week ago. We will let you know of some roster moves, friends, for the Cotuit Kettleers. Due to his hand injury, which he suffered during batting practice a week ago, DC Arendis, who started the majority of the Kettleers' first games at second base, has gone home due to injury, so yet to see what Stanford will do. We will let you know that Trace Pereira, the catcher from Texas, and Travis Duke, a left-handed pitcher from Texas, with their loss last night to Vanderbilt in the College World Series, they will be on their way and should be arriving within the next week. Meanwhile, 2013 Kettleer and current Vanderbilt Commodore Rhett Wiseman, who made a stellar catch in last night's game, will be moving on to the College World Series final against the Virginia Cavaliers, along with 2013 Kettleers Adam Ravenel, a 5th-round pick of the Detroit Tigers, and Brian Miller, Vanderbilt reliever, a 15th-round pick of the Tampa Bay Rays. The starting pitcher today for the Brewster Whitecaps is a right-hander from a school that not a lot of people have heard of, Southern New Hampshire, one of the Penn Men. I think it's a great name for a baseball program, considering the pen is called the bullpen, and, well, this, that, and the other. It's Joe McCarthy. He's originally from Nashua, New Hampshire. On the season at Southern New Hampshire, he went 5-1 with a 4.05 ERA, 12 appearances, he made 7 starts, 44 2/3 innings pitched, 20 earned runs, 27 runs total, so 7 unearned runs, a 1.45 strikeout to walk ratio, and a 1.28 whip. He tossed a perfect game in high school and his freshman year with the Penn Men. He went 2-1 with a 2.52 ERA. So far on the season, McCarthy 0-1 with a 4.91 ERA. He started 1 game. He went 3 2/3 innings pitched. He gave up 4 hits, 4 runs, 2 of them earned. He walked 1 and struck out 1 as well. Starting pitcher for Game 2 for the Brewster Whitecaps is the big right-hander, 6'6", 245 from Lake Forest, California, from Fresno State, Garrett Mundell. Garrett Mundell on the season, mainly a reliever for the Fresno State Bulldogs down along the Highway 99 corridor in Central California. Went 4-0 with a 1.58 ERA. 29 appearances, he made 3 starts over a span of 45 2/3 innings. He gave up 8 earned runs total on the season, a 1.58 strikeout to walk ratio, and a 1.16 whip. He was the team leader in ERA and innings pitched by a reliever this season, and opponents only hit 182 off of him. He had the second most wins of any Fresno State pitcher, despite being a full-time reliever, and he's gotten better and better every season. Those are his numbers from his junior year. As a sophomore, he was 1-5 with a 4.53 ERA, and his freshman year, he had a 6.38 ERA over a span of 36 2/3 innings pitched. One guy that has been hot for the Kettleers, he's been consistently hot, has been Brendan Hendricks. Hendricks is starting out in left field today. a .360 average on the season, 9 hits in 25 at-bats. He had 2 hits yesterday for the Kettleers, and we spoke with him in today's edition of Hot Off the Kettle.
See which Kettleer is heating up on today's edition of Hot Off the Kettle with Greg Moraz.
Today's Hot Off the Kettle is Brendan Hendricks, first baseman designated hitter from the University of San Francisco. Brendan, since you've come here, you've been swinging a hot bat. You're hitting over 300 yesterday in a game that was really a struggle for the offense in general. You still had 2 hits. What has made you been able to get the barrel on the ball so well early on?
I just go up there with the same approach, and coaches have done a great job teaching here, and I just try to go up there nice and relax and see what I can do to help the team.
What have you made in terms of your adjustments at your approach at the plate since you've been here, whether Coach Roberts has worked on with you with anything in the cage or anything in BP that you have adjusted since you've completed your season in San Francisco?
I think it's just seeing quality pitchers day in, day out. I mean, you see them in college, but not every day. The bullpen's often better than the starters, so you come out and face quality pitchers every day, and I think your approach just needs to stay consistent, whether it's a good day or a bad day.
A lot of people on the East Coast don't realize how strong of a baseball conference the WCC is. Do you think that you use that as a benefit against other pitchers who may not think that you come from a prominent baseball school, whereas you guys had the 21st overall pick in the draft this year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we face quality pitchers on a regular in the West Coast for sure. So coming out here, yesterday we faced a guy for Santa Barbara. I faced him a couple times during the year. So we see those guys, and I think it's a good opportunity to come out here and show our skills that we have on the West Coast as well.
Now, you're a guy that can hit to the opposite field. Do you think that it takes a special talent in order to be able to stay with an outside pitch and hit it the other way?
I don't know about talent necessarily. I think it's just, again, your approach. Definitely with the wood bat, it's a little bit different than metal. The barrel stays back a little longer because it's heavier. But in general, just try to hit the fastball and take pitches in the dirt and stuff like that and get good pitches to hit, and you can be successful when you can do that.
Now, 2013 Kettleer Bradley Zimmer was here, and I assume that your teammate at San Francisco, he gave you a lot of advice, as did 2013 Kettleer Christian Cecilio. How did they, in terms of telling you what to expect, help your adjustment here?
They just told me to come in and really buy into what Coach Roberts is saying, and I've taken that personally and literally, and I've taken what he's taught me and tried to apply it to my game, and then I've tried to use what I've always done and put that into the game as well. So they've definitely helped me with that transition.
How's the attitude of the team right now?
I think we're good. We're still loose, and we're working at it. We're here early today, trying to get better, and hopefully we can get a couple wins today.
Brendan, thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate it.
No problem.
That was University of San Francisco first baseman DH Brendan Hendricks here on the Kettleers warm-up. We'll be back right after this. That was Brendan Hendricks, and the attitude around the clubhouse is still positive. And despite 4 losses in a row, the team is doing its best in order to make sure that they stay focused on the task at hand and be able to come out with, hopefully for their sake, a pair of W's here today against the Brewster Whitecaps. Now, Brewster on the season, so far they're 5-5, and they've pretty much done everything fairly well. They've got a 3.27 team ERA. They're only hitting at .240 as a team, but they're loaded with talent. They have one returner in the form of Kyle Overstreet from the University of Alabama. They've got a lot of talent loaded up from places such as Alabama, Florida State, Arizona. And let's see what they have to offer as we go into Broadcaster's Corner with play-by-play broadcasters Brian Clemenson and Sean. I feel bad because I forget his last name at the moment, but you know what? Let's just have you listen to Broadcaster's Corner right now.
Welcome into Broadcaster's Corner, where we see what's going on with the opposing team from the guys who know them best. Standing by with the Brewster broadcast team, here's Greg Moraz.
My guests on Broadcaster's Corner today are Brewster play-by-play broadcasters Brian Clemenson and Sean Hamill. And Brian, so far this season, it's a lot different than it's been last season. A couple of returning guys, including Kyle Overstreet for John Altobelli's squad. But so far, from last season to this season, you're a returning broadcaster. What's been different?
Well, it's been a lot better pitching to begin the year for the Whitecaps. The bullpen at one point had a scoreless streak of almost 10 innings, so that has been the big key. The walk numbers have been down. Also, the bats are hitting, for the most part, consistently on the season, and that has been the turnaround this year.
Starting pitcher in the first game is Joe McCarthy, the right-hander from Southern New Hampshire. Not really a whole lot on him. Sean, what have you seen from him so far, and what can you tell us about his scouting report?
In the first game from McCarthy, first 3 innings he was blowing through the lineup. Then he had a line drive that came back to him. After that, he wasn't really the same. But I think today he'll have a clearer head, and he's really going to come at you, fastball slider kind of guy.
Starter in the second game, Garrett Mundell from Fresno State, mainly a reliever this entire season. He was very effective down in Fresno. What have you seen from him so far, and what are you going to expect from him in terms of a scouting report?
Expect another good start from Mundell. He has a very good track record as a reliever. Gave the Whitecaps the deepest outing at that point of the season. Hyannis, 7 shutout innings when the Whitecaps bullpen and pitching staff desperately needed some length from a starter, and Mundell was able to cruise to a victory there with his 7 shutout innings.
Now, this team is very unique in the sense that John Altobelli has recruited a plethora of Alabama talent, and one guy that has been extremely good in terms of his college stats is Wade Wass, who transferred to Alabama after 2 seasons at JUCO. What have you seen from Wass so far?
Wass has really been a good situational hitter this year. He's got 3 RBIs on the season, and when the runners are on, he's getting hits. And as you mentioned, the other Alabama guys, Mikey White's really starting to heat up, had a home run yesterday, saw his average climb almost 150 points.
Now, Brian, last question for you. In terms of returning guys, there's really only one significant returner from last year's Whitecap squad. That's Kyle Overstreet, another Alabama guy. What do you feel like his goal is this season? After last season, I don't think any Brewster fan would say that it was anything short of a disaster, but this year it seems like it's a new team, new attitude, but I assume that this year means a lot to Kyle Overstreet.
Yeah, it does, especially the way Overstreet started his campaign last year. Went 0 for 16, first at bat this year for the Whitecaps. Overstreet was able to get a base hit, so that was good to get the monkey off his back right away. And Overstreet's play has been good at the bat. He's known for his defense, made 3 errors in 1 game against Orleans, but he's back in there the next night and he's able to bounce back. So look for Kyle Overstreet's play to continue at a high level with the bat and the glove. That was just a fluke that one night in Orleans.
Brian and Sean, thank you so much for joining me here on Broadcasters Corner. Lineups and first pitch coming up next here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. It's Game 1 of this doubleheader between the Brewster Whitecaps and the Kettleers live from Lowell Park.
That was Brian Clemenson and Sean Hamill. Apologies for the blanking on the name. And it sounds like everything has been going well for the Brewster Whitecaps so far this season. And joining me now is my broadcast partner and former Brewster Whitecaps broadcaster, Brendan Glasheen, is in the booth now. First of all, Brendan, it's got to be a little bit weird facing off against your former team, a team that you covered for the entirety of last season. And not to say that you were a bad luck charm, but so far things seem to be going a little bit better for the Whitecaps than they were when you were out at Stony Brook Elementary a year ago.
Last season, Brewster won just 11 games, and it's funny because that all gets forgotten because that's how bad Wareham was last year. Now coming back, and I'm actually really happy to see John Altobelli in his 3rd season on the Cape finally have some success because we're only 10 games into the season, but they've won 5 games. He's brought back most of the same staff, but you mentioned it moments ago when I walked in the room here about the talent they've been able to gather together. These are all schools that John Altobelli has recruited from in previous years. Last year had Trevor Mitsui from Washington, a guy that in Braden Boyle, who's going to lead off today.
Braden Bishop,
And plenty of other names from Arizona State, Florida State, as well as Georgia. And Southern New Hampshire's a school that he recruited a player from last year, so Joe McCarthy on the mound doesn't surprise me. But Michigan, another school there, so it's actually nice to see that Alto is back in the Cape Cod League because there was a lot of speculation that he would not be back next year for the Brewster Whitecaps as head coach. And he's back along with Chip Dill, the pitching coach, and Sean O'Brien, the third base coach, a coach that I know has coached some of my friends at Franklin Pierce. So it's good to be back, and hopefully after the conclusion of Game 1, I can go talk to Alto and catch up. But it's interesting to be on the other side of it.
The question I have to ask you, and not to sound like one broadcaster is interviewing another here,
obviously you have insights of the organization. Altabelli has recruited 4 Alabama players. That's the most players from one single school on any team in the Cape League. He's got Wade Wass, Mikey White. He also has Kyle Overstreet returning from last season. He's got Georgie, I have to look up his name here real quick, Georgie Salem, another Alabama player. So that's 4 Alabama players on this roster. Why is Altabelli able to get to all of these Alabama players?
Well, last season it was the same thing. I mean, Justin Camplain pitched for the Whitecaps last year. He was from Alabama. You also bring in a guy in Kyle Overstreet for another season. He had some other players as well join this roster, and I think it's just been a pipeline he's been able to create with this school. He coaches at Orange Gulf Coast in California, so there's not a ton of players actually that come from the West Coast, but I think it really all started with that first class of Camplain and Overstreet, some coaches that he's tight with there. In terms of his connections there specifically, I don't know the details in terms of tidbits, but one thing that is certain is he likes to recruit Alabama guys because all of them that played last year had a great work ethic and were willing to learn and take the season slow and one step at a time.
The Whitecaps come in trying to, and we found this out from the Brewster Whitecap broadcast team of Brian Clemenson and Sean Hamill. If they win one of 2 games here today, it will be the first time that Brewster has won at Lowell Park since 2004. That is a stat that, to me, obviously different rosters and different players from year to year, but basically Lowell Park has been a house of horrors for the Brewster Whitecaps organization.
Yeah, I mean, to have a record in which you have not won a game at a ballpark in the Cape Cod League for that long is eye-popping, no questions asked, because that shows that you're coming into this ballpark knowing it's going to be a tough day, because this Kettleers team has always given this Brewster Whitecaps team a hard time, and that must be troublesome for Brewster. But I think, again, the year they've had to, at least to start the season is off to a good start. They're at 500 just like the rest of the league. That has to be encouraging. You're coming into this ballpark feeling good about yourselves and facing a Cotuit team that's lost 4 straight.
Whitecaps and Kettleers, Game 1 coming up next, 2 7-inning ball games. When we return, we will have lineups and first pitch for you here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee Channel 99 and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
It's time for Kettleers Baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Now with lineups and first pitch, here's Greg Mraz.
The Kettleers take the field behind the left-handed starter from Stanford, Logan James. And now we'll give you the starting lineup first for the Brewster Whitecaps. Brought to you by the Chatham Bars Inn, home of the Cape League's induction ceremony in November. Leading it off for John Altabelli's squad, Braden Bishop from Washington. He'll play center. Lamont Wade is in left. He will hit second. Wade Wass does the catching. He'll hit third. Cleaning up is the first baseman, Justin Montemayor. Luke Lowry is the designated hitter. He'll hit fifth. Travis Mazes plays short. He will hit sixth. John Sansone will play second and hit seventh. Dalton DiNatale will hit eighth and play third. And Scott Kingery rounds out the order, batting ninth and playing right. And on the mound for the Brewster Whitecaps is the right-hander from Southern New Hampshire, number 23, Joe McCarthy. And now to take you around defensively for the Kettleers, here's Brendan Glasheen.
Defensively for the Kettleers, left to right in the outfield, Brendan Hendricks, Ashton Parrott, and Logan Taylor. Left to right around the horn, Drew Jackson, Kyle Holder, Caleb Whalen, and Austin Byler. Ian Rice does the catching today for Logan James.
Logan James, the left-hander from Stanford, as we brought up to you earlier in the broadcast, friends. This season at Stanford, a 3-4 record with a +5 ERA, specifically a 5.31 ERA, 61 innings pitched down on the farm, a 1.27 strikeout to walk ratio, a 1.39 whip. He's fourth on the team this season at Stanford in innings pitched. He's a left-handed pitcher. He'll throw 3 pitches, a fastball, changeup, and a curveball. We'll give you the lineup here real quick for the Cotuit Kettleers. Here's how Mike Roberts lines it up. Brendan Hendricks will lead off and play left. Kyle Holder will hit second and play short. Austin Byler hits third and plays first. Jamison Fisher will clean up and do the DHing. Logan Taylor is out in right field. He will hit fifth. Ashton Parrott out in center. He'll hit sixth. Caleb Whalen hits seventh and plays second. Drew Jackson hits eighth and plays third. And batting ninth and doing the catching is Ian Rice. Brings up Braden Bishop, the leadoff man, the center fielder from the University of Washington, located in Seattle, Washington. This season for the Huskies, hit .304. No home runs. He drove in 27, a .394 OBP, but he led the Huskies with 21 stolen bases in 24 attempts. Drew Jackson in on the grass at third. First pitch on the way from the left-hander, Logan James. Hits it right to the shortstop, Kyle Holder. Picks it on a couple of hops, fires across. 1 pitch, 1 out, and we're underway here from Lowell Park.
We've already seen Logan James pitch in one relief stint this year. It was a half of inning, or just under half an inning for the Kettleers. And today, what I'm looking to see from him is how long can he go? Because yesterday, another situation where Mike Roberts had to go to the bullpen after Jackson McClelland, and it ended up being a pretty ugly finish, as I'm sure you talked about today on Kettleers warm-up.
Lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch to Lamont Wade is a curveball that misses well high for ball one. Wade, the left fielder from the University of Maryland, just arrived after Maryland was eliminated from the College World Series. He's 0 for 2 on the season in just one game played. Fastball high and in. Clocked at 89. Count to 2-0 on the season in College Park. Wade only hit a 247 but had a 358 OBP. 2-0. Fastball high and in. Wade has to duck out of the way of that one. Count to 3-0. Wade wearing number 9 for the Brewster Whitecaps. Drew Jackson in on the grass at third. Whalen and Holder double play depth at second and short. 3-0. Low and away, a 4-pitch walk issued to Lamont Wade. Wade on the season at Maryland was 4 for 5 in stolen bases. And unique fact about him, after he's done playing baseball, he wants to be in the FBI. That will bring up Wade Wass, and this is a guy that a lot of people have gotten to know playing in the SEC. Wass this season in Alabama hit .302 with a 388 OBP. He hit 5 home runs and drove in 34. Transferred from Meridian Junior College, pickoff to first, back safely, is Wade. Where in 2012, get this friends, junior college baseball seasons aren't that long. He hit .427 with 23 home runs and 67 driven in. Fastball high and away. 5 straight balls issued by Logan James. The count 1-0 on Wade Wass.
And to paint the picture for our listeners regarding the number of games played, just 57 to hit those 23 home runs. So an impressive number, as you said.
James sets at the letters, looks over at Wade at first, 1-0. Fastball outside. 2-0 the count on Wass. Wass so far this season, and Mike Roberts is going to have a meeting on the mound. Try and work on something mechanical here with Logan James. So far, Wade Wass has gotten off to a pretty good start relative to a lot of the other guys, but hasn't really put it together completely at 286 OBP, but he's 3 for 17 thus far. So not a great start, I should say, but he's a guy that they're going to expect a lot out of. Wass stands at 6 feet, 215 pounds. Really the only knock on him is in 225 at-bats this season, friends. He struck out 49 times. Justin Montemayor, the first baseman from the University of Houston, stands on deck. Righty-lefty matchup. James sets at the belt, looks over at Wade at first, and he'll throw over. Wade back safely. Jackson in on the grass at third. Holder shifted towards second base. At short, pickoff again. Back safely is Lamont Wade.
You know, we keep talking about how good Wade Wass is. Hit 10 home runs with 33 RBIs at Pensacola Catholic High School. It's where Daniel Lewis went to college, Pensacola.
2-0 fastball high and away. Make that 7 straight balls thrown by Logan James. And we talked about his strikeout to walk ratio. It wasn't a great one, friends. 3-0. First strike in the last 8 pitches. Changeup catches the low outside corner. 3-1 the count.
If you're James here, you don't want to put one right down the dish because you're in a situation where you've already thrown enough pitches. You want to still find a way to work around Wass and not give him a pitch to hit.
3-1 offering. Fastball high. Back-to-back walks. Wade moves up to second. And on to first is Wade Wass. James had a 1.27 strikeout to walk ratio this season. 42 strikeouts in comparison to 32 walks. Those aren't great numbers when you think about it because in a sample size of 61 innings, you want that strikeout number to be higher. You definitely want that walk number to be lower. Here's Justin Montemayor, the first baseman catcher from the University of Houston. First pitch on the way. Misses high for ball one, and you see Ian Rice sitting behind. He'll be transferring to Houston from Chipola Junior College next season, so two future teammates standing at the plate and behind the dish.
And man, oh man, what a year for Justin. A big season.
1-0, strike at the knees. Fastball in the low inside corner.
He was the American Athletic Conference first team top designated hitter. Hit just about 300, a home run, and 33 batted in at Houston this past season.
1-1, breaking ball high. That one only at 66, 2-1 the count. Montemayor was fourth at Houston in batting average. He also trailed Kyle Cervantz, Hyannis's left fielder. Cervantz this season for the Houston Cougars hit 308. Montemayor hit 298. 2-1, hit right to the shortstop Kyle Holder, flips it to second for one, on to first, double play. End of inning. And despite the control problems, Logan James wiggles out of it. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Kettleers coming to bat here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee Channel 99 and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettle
Welcome back here to Lowell Park. The Whitecaps have taken the field behind big right-hander Joe McCarthy from Southern New Hampshire. And let's go through the Kettleers lineup once again. Brendan Hendricks leads it off. Kyle Holder hits second. Austin Byler hits third. Jamison Fisher cleans up. Logan Taylor is in right field. Ashton Parrott hits sixth in center field. Caleb Whalen hits seventh. Drew Jackson hits eighth. And Ian Rice bats ninth. And now for the Whitecaps defensive alignment, here's Brendan Glasheen.
Left to right in the outfield, Lamonte Wade, Braden Bishop, and Scott Kingery. Left to right in the infield, Dalton Di Natale, Travis Mays, John Sansone, and then Justin Montemayor. Wade Wass does the catching for Joe McCarthy.
Joe McCarthy has not really pitched that much so far this season. Obviously, not a whole lot of people have pitched that much in terms of what they've done in the Cape League. A 4.91 ERA in one start. It spanned 3 2/3 innings. Gave up 4 hits, 4 runs. 2 of them were earned. A walk and a strikeout. McCarthy threw a perfect game in high school. He is from New Hampshire originally, so staying close to home. This season at Southern New Hampshire, one of the Penn Men, which I think is an absolutely fantastic name for a baseball team. 5-1 with a 4.05 ERA, spanning 44 2/3 innings pitched. Top of the order here in the bottom of the first, Hendricks, Holder, and Byler to face McCarthy. Brendan Hendricks yesterday was one of the few bright spots for the Kettleers. Left-handed hitter. We talked with him on Hot Off the Kettle. He reached base 3 times, 2 times via singles. First pitch swinging, hits it right to Montemayor, picks it on a hop. 1 pitch, 1 out, as Montemayor goes and tags the bag. That will bring up Kyle Holder, who also had a good day yesterday. Holder went 3 for 3. He also walked. And with that day, Kyle Holder bumped his average up to 233, 7 hits in 30 at-bats on the season. The shortstop from the University of San Diego has pretty much been starting at short every game this season. First pitch on the way from McCarthy. Fastball dips low and in for ball 1.
Joe McCarthy attended Bishop Girton High School, which is about 20 minutes from my hometown, Lowell, Mass. Bishop Girton Cardinals have produced some talented ball players.
Ground ball to the right side, goes foul past the first base bag and past the first base umpire, Tony Letizio. And we will give you the umpires for today's ball game. Dan Miller behind the plate. Tony Letizio is at first, and Alex Scandalis will be manning third. 1-1 the count on Kyle Holder, left-handed hitter. Waggles the bat a few times. McCarthy, the 6'5", 215-pound right-hander. 1-1 offering. Breaking ball at the knees on the low outside corner. Called strike 2. 1-2 the count on Kyle Holder. The wind kick and the 1-2 from McCarthy. Holder chops it to the right side. Big hop on Montemayor, but covering is McCarthy. Nice play as the ball, as it hit the lip of the infield grass before it goes to the dirt, went straight up. Caught Justin Montemayor off guard. Fortunately for the Whitecaps, McCarthy sprinted over as fast as his 6'5", 215-pound frame could carry him and tag the bag.
The ball bounced twice on that ground ball by Kyle Holder and hit the lip of the grass, and that's why it popped up. And good play by Montemayor to grab it and flip to McCarthy covering.
Here's Austin Byler, first pitch, fastball, low and away, pops the glove at 92. Byler in his fourth game back with the Kettleers, hitting .333, 4 hits and 12 at-bats. A home run, he's driven in 2. Also has a double. 1-0 breaking ball in the dirt. Changeup at 82. Counts 2-0 on the Kettleers slugging first baseman from the University of Nevada, Reno.
And after back-to-back games of Byler being in the leadoff spot, Coach Roberts goes back to his original plan when Byler returned, and he's back in the 3-hole.
The wind in 2-0. Byler hits it deep to right. Way back. Gone! Austin Byler. Light it up. A line shot to right field. Kettleers strike first. It's 1-0 Katuitt.
Scott Kingery, the right fielder for the Brewster Whitecaps, knew it right when it left the bat. Didn't even bother running towards the fence. He's positioned well to the left of the right field line. And that ball was hit on a line by Byler. The breeze here at Lowell Park definitely helped, but he got all of that one.
First pitch on the way, Jamison Fisher, breaking ball. Taken high for ball 1. 1-0 the count on the Kettleer designated hitter from southeast Louisiana. 1-0 offering. Fastball in the dirt. Counts to 2-0.
And that's a pitch where McCarthy left it way over the plate on the mid to outside part, and that's when a lefty loves it because they can potentially rope the ball and pull it.
2-0, chopped foul. Fisher had the green light. 2-1 the count. Fisher scored the Kettleers' only run yesterday as a pinch hitter in the bottom, or I should say the top of the 7th. Walked and was driven in on a Brendan Hendricks single. 2-1. Fastball low. Count to 3-1 on Fisher, who on the season hitting at .257, 9 hits and 35 at-bats. No home runs. He's driven in 1. 3-1, fouled out of play. The count goes to full 3-2 on Jamison Fisher.
And yesterday at Red Wilson Field, it was the first we saw Jamison Fisher not starting. And Mike Roberts' lineup has been a DH and catcher all year long. Got the day off, but ended up playing in the game.
Ground ball on the payoff, hit right to the second baseman. Flips to first. That retires this side. Sansone flips to Montemayor. And that retires this side, but not before. Austin Byler leaves the yard on a line shot to dead right. We've played one at Lowell Park. Kettleers lead this one 1-0.
Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleeers and Kentuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleeers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
Five, 6, and 7 due up here for the Whitecaps against Logan James. Luke Lowry, the DH from East Carolina, is a catcher with the Pirates. First pitch fastball low and away for ball one. The battery mate of 9th overall pick Jeff Hoffman. Lowry hit .288 this season in East Carolina, 4 home runs and 19 RBIs. Hit to dead center field. Ashton Parrott charging, going back is Caleb Whalen. Neither of them are going to get it. Falls in for a hit. Whitecaps have their third base runner already on the afternoon. That brings up Travis Mazes, the shortstop from the University of Michigan. Mazes, a left-handed hitter, originally from Ann Arbor, Michigan, so grew up in Ann Arbor and goes to school in Ann Arbor. Lefty-lefty matchup. Mazes waggles the bat. James sets at the letters. Looks over at first. First pitch, strike. Right down Broadway. Fastball at 87. 0-1 the count. Mazes hit .302 this season for the Maize and Blue. A .413 OBP. He slugged at .459. 3 home runs. He drove in 21. He was second on the Wolverines in batting average at .302. 0-1 breaking ball. Misses high and in. Count even at 1-1. He led the team in at-bats with 222, runs with 47, triples with 4, home runs with 3, 25 extra base hits, that led the team, total bases with 102, and he also led the Wolverines with 19 stolen bases. 1-1, changeup. Outer half of the plate, called strike 2, 1-2 the count on Mazes. He was a 2014 All Big Ten third team selection. The Big Ten Player of the Year, for anybody wondering, is former Wareham Gateman, catcher, outfielder, and current Chicago Cubs 4th overall pick, as James's curveball misses in the dirt 2-2, Kyle Schwarber. He was a 2013, being Mazes, All Big Ten freshman team selection. He had .313 last season with 3 home runs and 44 RBIs. 2-2, fastball, misses low and away. Count goes to full, 3-2. Mazes in danger, or rather Logan James in danger of walking Mazes and putting on his 3rd batter so far via the walk. Runners going, hit to the right side, base hit through the hole between first and second. Going first to third on the hit and run is Luke Lowry. Whitecaps are in business here in the second. First and third, nobody out for John Sansone.
Just a case of bad luck based on where the pitch was hit. Caleb Whalen has to cover second with the righty batting, with the lefty batting rather, and Whalen moved towards the second base bag, and Mazes finds the hole on the right side, and of course with the runner in motion, you can set up that first to third opportunity, and this is a great inning for the Whitecaps, considering it just allowed a home run, but that's what happens. Solo shots really don't disturb you much because it's just a run.
Right-handed hitting, John Sansone. First pitch fouled back to the screen. 0-1 the count on the Florida State second baseman. Sansone this season with the Seminoles hit .221 with a .361 OBP, so despite the low average, an on-base percentage that's 140 points higher than his batting average. 0-1, breaking ball in the dirt, gets by Ian Rice. Going to second and diving head first is Travis Mazes. So a passed ball on Ian Rice puts runners at second and third with nobody out. Sansone has a chance to drive one out and possibly give the Whitecaps an early lead after losing the lead in the bottom of the inning.
The infield now in for the Kettleers, even with the 1-0 lead.
In at all spots. 1-1, fouled straight back. Count to 1-2. We talked about the shutdown inning all season long, and it's something that the Kettleers have had a lot of trouble with, and if trends serve us correctly, the Kettleers will fail to get a shutdown inning here, as you would suspect that the Whitecaps will find a way through small ball sacrifices to get one of these two base runners in. 1-2 breaker in the dirt. Good block by Ian Rice. Deflects out in front of home plate. Keeps it in front of him. But more importantly, keeps Luke Lowry on third base. Count even at 2. Here in the second inning of the first of 2 games to be played here today at Lowell Park. The only trip that the Brewster Whitecaps will make here this season, barring both teams' appearance in the Cape League Championship Series. 2-2, swing and a miss. It gets by Ian Rice. Coming in to score is Luke Lowry. In at first safely is John Sansone. Moving to third is Travis Mazes. Game tied at 1. And for the second time in as many home games, the visiting team scores a run on a drop third strike.
This is almost like a horror story all over again for the Kettleers. Remember yesterday's game, 3 runs on 3 pitches via pass balls. And it's actually kind of funny, Greg, because I talked with our scout liaison and assistant to the GM, Hendrick Hers, yesterday. And Hendrick made a good point. Both catchers for the Kettleers are both JUCO guys.
First pitch on the way to Dalton DiNatale, third baseman from Arizona State, taken on the outside corner for strike 1. DiNatale on the season at Arizona State hit .294. That ranked 5th for the Sun Devils. 3 home runs, he drove in 36. 1-1, swung on and missed, thrown out to second base, not in time. 0-1, I should say. Count 0-2. Stolen base, though, for Sansone. And same situation. Second and third, nobody out. 1-1 ball game now.
It's no disrespect to Ian Rice or Casey Schroeder, but Hendrick made a good point. They're immature in the sense that they haven't necessarily faced top-level competition.
0-2, chop foul to the right side. DiNatale remains in the count 0-2, but you make a good point there. With Texas losing to Vanderbilt last night, Trace Barrera, who is the other Kettleers contracted catcher besides Jamison Fisher, will be on his way here in the next couple of days, and he's a guy that had a very good freshman season at Texas and is expected to do big things. Time is called. DiNatale will step out of the box. Second on the team this season at Arizona State in RBIs with 36, behind R.J. Ibarra, who we saw with Orleans here 2 days ago. 0-2. Change-up misses away. 1-2 the count.
I only say this because it's not that these guys can't get the job done. It's the fact that it's easy to blame the pitching. It's easy to blame Mason Klotz for what happened yesterday. But a lot of the baseballs being thrown are catchable balls.
1-2, breaking ball misses low. Count to 2-2. Unlike his first appearance, Logan James is really using his curveball that's a Zito-esque curve. It's dipping 12-6, although he's not necessarily getting it to break in the right spot. Infield remains in for the Kettleers. Outfield normal depth. 2-2 from James. Bounced in the dirt. Good block by Ian Rice. Count to full 3-2. Nobody in the bullpen right now for the Cotuit Kettleers. And looks like this is going to be Logan James's game for now. 1-1, top second. Whitecaps have runners at second and third with nobody out. Payoff on the way. Breaking ball. Looped up the middle of a base hit. Coming in to score is Mazes. Being waved around is John Sansone. He will score as well. A 2 RBI single for Dalton DiNatale. Whitecaps take the early lead 3-1 now.
Just think about it. Those runners advanced on the pass ball. So a base hit for DiNatale, able to score both. I mean, I know it was first and third. You get the stolen base from Sansone. Or by Mazes, rather. But that's just a case where it becomes a frustrating situation.
Brings up Scott Kingery, the right fielder from Arizona. Jackson on the grass at third now. First pitch swinging Kingery. Skies it out of play. To the right side. 0-1 the count. Kingery this season, one of the best players at an Arizona team that struggled. He led the team in average at .354, on base percentage at .456, runs with 41, walks with 33, and also led the team with 19 steals. Pitch in the dirt on the 0-1, throw down to second base, not in time. Dalton DiNatale swipes second. The Whitecaps have yet another runner in scoring position with nobody out in what's turning out to be a disastrous top of the second inning.
That's the second stolen base of the inning as well. It's become a combination of the pitchers not being able to command the zone, and James has to get to the plate quicker in those scenarios. He's lifted the leg and held it there. He might have to mix in a slide step.
1-1 offering. Kingery shows bunt, but it's foul in front of home plate. They're going to call interference on Scott Kingery. Home plate umpire Dan Miller calls Kingery out. Big break for the Kettleers. Turns the order over for Braden Bishop. Tell you one thing. In an inning where nothing has gone right, that's the one thing that so far has gone right.
Well, catch a break, no question. I mean, that's an out you'll take, no questions asked, if you're the Kettleers.
James sets. Bishop 0 for 1, grounded out to short to lead off the ball game.
You know, when you're a struggling ball club that's lost 4 in a row, you get a 1-0 lead from a guy who just got here in a home run. It's not that...
Hit up the middle, base hit. Rounding third and being held up at third is Dalton DiNatale. A ripped single up the middle. The hardest hit ball we've seen all day other than Austin Byler's home run. Runners at the corners, 1 out. For Lamont Wade.
It's already the 4th or 5th hit, rather, given up by Logan James. And now you start to question how long this appearance goes. It's ironic because most of these pitchers, Greg, that we've seen, we've heard from Coach Mike Roberts that these players are, in his mind, more mature. Guys that he's going to see go deeper in games. So these pitchers also just got here.
Breaking ball misses high. Throw down to second base. Bishop is not in under the tag. Caught stealing is Braden Bishop. Kettleers catch another break. A dart thrown by Ian Rice. Count 1-0 on Lamont Wade. Dalton DiNatale standing at third, and now there's some action loosing in the Kettleer bullpen. Lefty-lefty matchup. Line kick and the 1-0. Broken bat hit right to Caleb Whalen. Flips to first in time as Byler barely stays on the bag, I should say. But the damage done. Whitecaps strike for 3. We'll head to the bottom of the second inning. 3-1 Brewster here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable-Mashpee Channel 99 and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Kettleers Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Kettleers try and close the deficit here in the bottom of the second inning. Logan Taylor leads it off, the right fielder from Texas A&M. Righty-righty matchup. Whitecaps infield is back up the middle. First pitch tailing fastball. Catches the high outside corner. 0-1 the count to Logan Taylor. Taylor's been in the starting lineup every day, friends. Hitting .333 on the season. 11 hits and 33 at-bats. 1 home run. And he's driven in 7. Fastball at the knees. Called strike 2. Taylor down the count 0-2. Logan Taylor was pulled in the third inning yesterday after getting picked off by Justin Hawkame of the YD Red Sox. 0-2 offering. Fastball high and away. 1-2 the count on Taylor.
And whether or not there is an actual connection to that, we don't know, but all signs pointed to Mike Roberts' decision to remove him from the game. Just a minor base running error that comes back to bite you, really.
1-2, fastball low and in. Count even at 2 to the Texas A&M third baseman who leads the Kettleers so far this season with 7 RBIs.
And it may have just been a case of Coach Roberts trying to send a message to his ball club.
Curveball low and away. Count goes to full 3-2. Ashton Parrott stands on deck for the Kettleers.
Because Taylor's been a feisty guy at the plate. Had a little bit of a slump, and made his way back and has been great the last handful of games.
Payoff pitch, hit high, shallow right field. Under it is the second baseman, John Sansone. He'll make the catch. Taylor retired. Brings up Ashton Parrott.
And I'm sure Joe McCarthy, the starter for the Brewster Whitecaps, appreciates the 3 runs after giving up the solo shot to Austin Byler. That's why if you're a starting pitcher, you don't mind solo home runs because it really doesn't do much. It's you get the baseball back, you hop back on the rubber, and you take care of the rest.
Brings up Ashton Parrott, 1 for 7 on the season. The center fielder from Liberty. First pitch swinging, hit down the left field line. Nobody's going to get that one. Parrott rounding first, he'll head for second. Lamont Wade throws it in. Throw is cut off. 1 out double for Ashton Parrott. Kettleers in business. Runner in scoring position with only 1 out for Caleb Whalen.
Ashton Parrott shot that ball right down the left field line. And based on what we've seen, he's only had 2 hits in 8 at-bats. Saw a relief appearance from him yesterday, and on-base percentage of just 143. But again, still early for Parrott. Getting another start today in center field. And crucial for the Kettleers to just get a guy on and make something happen. They don't want this deficit to carry on into the later half of the innings.
Here's Caleb Whalen, hitting the lowest he has in the order all season, swing and a miss. Tailing fastball to the outer half. 0-1 the count on the University of Portland second baseman. For those of you who are curious, friends, Parrott pitched 3 innings of 1-run ball yesterday against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. Came in back in the bottom of the 5th inning, relieving Jackson McClelland after 4 innings pitched. Hit high and deep to left field, down the line. If it's fair, it's gone, and it's foul. A moonshot down the line. Foul by about 5 feet. Whalen almost tied this ball game.
Caleb Whalen's not a big guy. He's 6'2", but just 190 pounds. He doesn't look too big when you see him in person. But definitely crushed it down the left field line.
Time is called. Whalen will step out. At Portland this season, Caleb Whalen wasn't much of a power hitter. He hit 4 home runs. It did lead the team, but he only drove in 22. 0-2, swing and a miss. Curveball in the dirt. They say it's fouled off. Throw down to first. Not in time. Now they're saying it's not going to be fouled off. Home plate umpire Dan Miller initially signaled that the ball was fouled. Changes his mind. A drop third strike. Moves Ashton Parrott to third. And Caleb Whalen stands at first, advancing on a drop third strike on the strikeout.
Not too often you see a pair of drop third strikes in the first handful of innings. The Brewster Whitecaps had one last half inning to extend the top of the second. And the Kettleers in the home half of the second get a nice opportunity again. Again, everything you said, Greg, is true about them not having much going right last half inning. Now some things going their way to try and get back in the ball game.
First pitch of Drew Jackson hit high and deep to left center field. On his horse is Braden Bishop. He'll settle under it, make the catch. Tagging from third and scoring is Ashton Parrott. Sacrifice fly for Drew Jackson. Kettleers cut the deficit to 1. It's now 3-2 Brewster.
Jackson gave it a nice ride to left center field. A solid run on it by Braden Bishop, and plenty of time, though, for Parrott to tag and score. Again, we mentioned this several times in our previous broadcasts when the Kettleers are trailing in ball games. They got to do it one pitch and one at bat at a time. That's a simple case of it. Not trying to do too much, putting the bat on the ball and finding the hole in left center.
First pitch to Ian Rice, taken low for ball 1. Rice on the season hitting at an even 200. 2 hits and 10 at-bats. Rice started the game against the Orleans Firebirds here on Friday. Right-handed hitter, slightly open stance, 2-step lead at first for Caleb Whalen. Pickoff to first. Back safely is Whalen. Montemayor holding him on. 3-2 here in the bottom of the second inning. Whitecaps struck for 3 in the top of this frame. 1-0 fastball in the dirt. Good block by Wade Wass. Wanted to throw down, but Whalen wasn't going. Count to 2-0. Infield back at all spots except for Justin Montemayor, who is holding on Caleb Whalen at first. A 3-step lead at first for Whalen. 2-0. Fastball in the dirt. Count to 3-0 on Rice. Brendan Hendricks stands on deck. Bishop shaded slightly to the left of dead center field in center. 3-0. Fastball, low inside corner. Called strike 1. Good sized crowd here for an early game here. 2 o'clock start on this Sunday afternoon on Cape Cod. 3-1. Fastball, inside corner at the belt. From our vantage point, may have been a little bit more inside than home plate umpire Dan Miller thought. Either way, 3-2, 2 outs, bottom of the second. Whalen's going, the payoff, hit down the line. That one's going to drop for a fair ball. Rounding second, heading to third is Caleb Whalen. He's going to be waved home, cruising into second base with an RBI double is Ian Rice. Whalen scores, and this game is tied at 3.
With 2 outs, Caleb Whalen got a good jump because it's 3-2, and immediately he's off on the pitch. And once Coach Mike Roberts saw the ball drop just a 1.5 feet from the left field line, he quickly waved Caleb Whalen home. And for Ian Rice, able to find that left field line, a clutch 2-out hit. And just like that, we're tied up. These are the types of runs, Greg, the Kettleers have not been able to get all year. And they have tried to play catch-up later on in ball games. Instead, they come back in the early innings, and I think that's going to pay off big time.
Pitching coach Chip Dill has a meeting on the mound with Joe McCarthy and catcher Wade Wass. And you got to know Chip Dill a little bit last season. What type of strategy does he employ in his pitchers when he goes out for mound visits?
Well, Dill from now Tennessee got his new job last year.
First pitch to Brendan Hendricks. Fastball low and in for ball one.
His biggest thing when it comes to pitchers is finding a routine. It doesn't necessarily mean he's got one routine in mind, similar to what Mike Roberts does, throwing change-ups, keeping the arm slot back. It's really Chip helping his pitchers and learning about them to get their own strategy down.
Wild pitch goes off the chest protector of Wade Wass. Advancing to third on the wild pitch is Ian Rice. So far today we've had, between the two teams, in only 2 innings of play, 2 drop third strikes, runners getting on base, and a wild pitch. Something else. Hendricks 0 for 1, grounded out to Justin Montemayor at first to lead off the game for the Kettleers. Hits it right to Montemayor again at first, covering this time McCarthy. Flips to him, retires the side. But the Kettleers strike back on a sacrifice fly by Drew Jackson and an RBI double by Ian Rice. We're through 2, tied at 3 here from Lowell Park on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Shadow Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.
Heart of the order due up for the Brewster Whitecaps. Wade Wass leads it off. He walked in his only plate appearance so far today, back in the top of the first. Kettleers infield is back at all spots. Big gap out in left center field for Wass. First pitch fastball at the knees, called strike 1. Ashton Parrott shifted well to the right, out in center field. At least 5 yards to the right of dead center from our vantage point. Hit up the middle, off the glove of James. James recovers, and he can't get the bare hand on it. Leadoff man aboard. Infield single for Wade Wass. He's reached base twice. Brings up Justin Montemayor.
James knocks that down because of protection. Stuck the glove out, knocks it down, but he doesn't know where the ball is, so then he ends up finding it. But what he does wrong there is he looks up to see how far down the line Wass is. In that instance, a pitcher should just pick up the baseball, then judge whether they should throw it or not. So Wass psyched himself out and didn't even get the grab on the ball.
First pitch to Justin Montemayor. Skied to shortstop. Holder moves over towards the second base bag. Makes the catch. Montemayor retired on 1 pitch. Friends, due to website difficulties, the stream of today's ball game is not available through the website. Make sure you visit our official YouTube channel, Official Kettleers, in order to catch all the action from today's ball game. Here's Luke Lowry, led off with a single in the Whitecaps 3-run, top of the second inning, and he's got another single. Pokes it in the hole between third and short. Whitecaps have runners at first and second on a hard hit ball by Luke Lowry. He's 2 for 2.
6 hits now for the Brewster Whitecaps, and they've come right back every single time James has the sign of a clean inning. You know, gets lucky because James can't pick up the ball cleanly on the ball hit back at him. Then James responds, getting the fly out to Luke Lowry, or to Montemayor rather, and then Lowry able to single right through the hole.
Brings up Travis Mazes. Mazes 1 for 1. Single and a run scored in the top of the second inning. Left-handed hitter waggles the bat. First pitch from the lefty, James. Curveball in the dirt. Good block by Ian Rice. 1-0 the count. Mazes, one of 2 Michigan Wolverines on this Brewster Whitecaps squad. The other, left-handed starting pitcher Evan Hill. James sets. Gets the sign and the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Big hack, but no contact. Fastball at the knees. Count even at 1 on Mazes. And one of 3 Michigan Wolverines players in the Cape League, the other, we saw here 2 days ago in second baseman / closer for the Orleans Firebirds, Jacob Cronenworth. 1-1 breaking ball, high and away. 2-1 the count. Yesterday, for the YD Red Sox, we saw another Big Ten Conference player in the form of Illinois catcher Jason Goldstein. 2-1 the count. Mazes hits it on a hop to Caleb Whalen, flips to second for 1. On to first, not in time. Force at second. Moving to third is Wade Wass. Travis Mazes safe at first on the fielder's choice.
Ball was hit a bit too slow to Caleb Whalen over at second, and the flip over to the shortstop Kyle Holder, a bit high and wide to the left of Holder. Still able to make the catch, though, and make a attempt at first base. That's one thing we've seen from Kyle Holder, is that he's been steady with the glove, but oftentimes his throwing accuracy has been questioned.
That'll be it for Logan James. Pitching change on the way, brought to you by the Fuller Family Foundation. But instead of taking a break, well, we had the pitchers here. Let's go get them one more time. So we'll have Mason Klotz and Jackson McClelland on, as we'll have a new pitcher here for the Kettleers as Logan James exits. Responsible for the runners on first and third. We will bring in Jackson McClelland, who started yesterday for the Cotuit Kettleers. First of all, Jackson, welcome to the broadcast booth and welcome to the Cape League. How has it been so far in the few days since you've been here?
It's been a lot of fun. It's obviously a very high level, the best in the country, so it's a lot of fun to come out and compete every day against competition like this. So.
Now, you were teammates at college with 2013 Kettleer Eric Karch, your staff's closer, down in Malibu. Did he tell you anything as to what to expect coming to the league?
Yeah, Karch and I talked actually a lot about the level of competition and what to expect from Coach Roberts and how he runs the program here. So I was pretty ready mentally coming in. So.
Based on what you had in yesterday's start against YD, of course the end result on the scoreboard didn't go your way or the team's way, but how did it feel to get the first start out of the way and kind of face some of those hitters over at the Red Sox?
It felt good. You know, like you said, the end result wasn't great, but even though I gave a few runs, I felt pretty good. I got a few things to work on, but it's baseball, that's how it goes, so pretty good first day.
Now, has the transition been a little bit rushed for you, considering that your team, the Pepperdine Waves, have made a big run deep into the College World Series and the NCAA postseason? Has it sort of been a rushed transition, or do you feel like you've had enough time off between the end of your college season and the beginning of the summer league year?
No, I had about a week to decompress and get over the hard loss we had, so it wasn't particularly rushed for me, so I feel pretty good about it. So.
Now, one last question for you. Have you gotten to explore any of the sites around here yet, or is it just more of a get adjusted to the baseball factor and then, you know, enjoy the off days when they come? You got one tomorrow, so what are you planning to do with your day tomorrow?
I haven't seen a whole lot yet. Tomorrow, I'll have to talk to my Daniel, because I'm staying with Daniel Lewis right now, so we'll have to see what we got going for tomorrow. Probably going to go over to the beach and do a little bonfire action or something like that. Just maybe explore the beach a little bit and then go from there. So.
I'm actually staying in the house right next to Daniel Lewis, so you're technically my next door neighbor for the moment.
Oh, hey, learn something new every day.
Yeah, exactly. So Jackson, we'll let you go. Really appreciate having you on here.
All right, thanks, guys.
And Daniel Lewis is actually, ironically enough, the new pitcher. We'll bring on Mason Klotz here in just a moment. John Sansone steps in. Sansone reached on a fielder's, or I should not say, not a fielder's choice, a drop third strike on a strikeout. The second baseman from Florida State, Daniel Lewis, sets in the stretch. First pitch swinging, skied to third base in foul ground. Drew Jackson settles under it. He'll make the catch. Crisis averted. Daniel Lewis comes in and on one pitch gets out of a jam. We'll head to the bottom of the third, but we'll keep it here as we bring on Mason Klotz, the right-hander from Southeast Louisiana. And Mason, you've been used a lot so far, and obviously Coach Roberts loves to be able to work with guys on their mechanics as they progress through the season. Is there anything that he's worked on with you in particular since you've been here?
Definitely. He's been able to really teach me how to stay behind the ball, and I'm still learning that. And on top of that, he's really learned how to control the changeup. It's something I didn't have coming into, and it's really great having it as a backup pitch and coming more like one of my more better pitchers.
In Southeastern Louisiana this past year, you had an undefeated record out of the pen, an ERA in the low twos. How has that transition been from playing in that conference, Southeast Conference, and coming to the Cape Cod League?
It was a great transition, actually. It wasn't too much of really not like being within the groove because it was really fresh out the season. It's just the competition has risen up so much. It's really incredible to where you go from playing everyday guys you know since you were little to coming thousands of miles away from home and really play against really great competition every day.
Now, you have the luxury of being able to have your college teammate Jamison Fisher here. Now, you haven't really thrown to Fisher a whole lot yet, but how often did he actually catch you in college, and are you hoping to have him behind the plate a little bit more in the future for future appearances?
Actually, this year he called me most of the season because the other catcher, Sam Robertson, was out, and he actually found out he just got worried he had to have surgery the other day on his elbow, so I think he's going to be out for next season as well. So I'm pretty sure Jamison, we have a couple of JUCO guys coming in to be really great catches for us and look for us to be really strong behind the dish.
Now, you're a sidearm guy out of the pen for the Kettleers and Mike Roberts. I know Coach Roberts has a tendency to really like those types of pitchers and bring those guys in. Is there anything about your mechanics specifically that Coach Roberts has altered or maybe want to see adjustments in?
Actually, yes, he has. My other outing the other day, he wouldn't allow me to drop down to where I could control it over top a little bit more, and it really helped my effectiveness that one game. And then when I went back down to dropping down, and it really became more effective, I had a little more control of the ball as well. I struggled my last outing, but it's something I look forward to build on and really stay moving in the right direction.
Bottom of the third here, Kyle Holder steps to the plate. First pitch from Joe McCarthy. Misses low and outside for ball one. So McCarthy, out for his third inning of work, gave up 2 runs. In the bottom of the second to the Kettleers, Holder skies it to center field. Braden Bishop steps in 2 steps, settles under it, makes the catch. Lost it in the sun for a smidgen, friends, but he recovers, makes a catch route number 1. Now, final question for you, Mason. You're up in the broadcast booth. Have you ever fancied yourself getting into the media or television or radio? Do you think this is a career path that after you're done playing baseball that you could be one of those MLB Network guys or be calling baseball down in your home state of Louisiana?
I would love to. My only problem is nobody will understand what I'm saying.
I can pretty much understand what you're saying. You want to give a try at a couple pitches here with Austin Byler at the plate?
Yeah, I see we got Byler at the plate. It was like a curveball. He's left up, but Byler missed the pitch and it was fouled up to the left. Byler's been really seeing the ball lately, really well.
Yeah, I mean, he hit a shot out to right field.
Yes, he did. And he really got in a hurry.
That was a screaming Mimi.
Yes, it was. He steps back into the plate. I think I can do this. I think I can work with this. That was a changeup, and it's bunted foul.
Any reason why you think he laid down a bunt after hitting a home run about 360 feet to dead right field his last time up?
Well, actually, you see the third baseman was playing deep right there. He wasn't honoring it, so Byler saw a chance to try and take advantage of that by just using a little bit of his speed to beat out an infield base hit.
You know, it's funny. You bring up Austin Byler. Drew Jackson's another player that's back here. Jake Fincher. Have you taken anything for the guys that are back with this team and kind of get what's going on in the Cape League again with the Kettleers?
Oh, definitely. You got to talk to the guys so where it's an easier transition. That's what's been so easy about it. The guys kind of really took you under the wing and really showed you the ropes and how things are run around here, and they've done a great job with it. Swing
and a miss. Byler goes down swinging. I thought you were going to have that one, Mason, but
I just looked up. I was wanting to say something else. It wouldn't have been appropriate for it.
Well, Mason, really appreciate having you on, and we hope to have you on in the booth again soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Mason Klotz, right-hander from Southeast Louisiana. Really appreciate having him and Jackson McClelland on up here in the broadcast booth. And, man, you know, I think that Mason could actually be a pretty darn good broadcaster. First pitch to his college teammate, Jamison Fisher. Misses high and away for ball one.
It's funny because, you know, that analysis he just gave about Byler dropping a bunt down. Looked at Di Natale at third base. He's backed up quite a bit. You know, that's a good answer. You asked him on the spot, and he gave a great answer.
1-0 breaking ball misses low and away to Jamison Fisher. Fisher on the ball game, friends. 0 for 1 with a ground out to second. Fastball outside corner at the knees. Count even at 2-2.
I mean, you watch those shows like MLB Network and Baseball Tonight. Sometimes...
Sorry, the count was 2-0, friends, as the next pitch is called for strike two. Now the count's 2-2.
When you see shows like that, you see some former players, and you say, really? He got that job? How did he get that? And then he ends up sounding pretty good.
Two's across the board. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Pitch bounces in. Count to full on Jamison Fisher, 3-2.
Like being a Red Sox fan, Aaron Boone hits that walk-off home run against Tim Wakefield in Game 7 of the 03 ALCS, and now he's on Baseball Tonight. Sounds good. I like Aaron Boone's analysis.
Payoff. Skied out of play to the left side. Count to full on Jamison Fisher.
And let me say this, and I'll let you jump in here. If Ozzie Guillen can get a job on TV based on what he's done with umpires as well as post-game press conferences, I think Mason Klotz is okay.
3-2 on the way. Fisher ropes it out to left field. Charging hard is the left fielder, Wade. He can't make the catch. Fisher on with a 2-out single. So Jamison Fisher 1 for 2. Kettleers' 4th hit of the ball game. Now, Ozzie Guillen is somebody that you can't understand, period. He learned his English from John Kruk, the famous Philadelphia Phillies first baseman outfielder who has now been a long-tenured member of Baseball Tonight. Jeff Kinley and Adam Witt, double-barreled action in the Kettleers bullpen, friends. Logan Taylor steps to the plate, popped out to John Sansone. First time up, Fisher's going, hit and run, foul out of the play, back into the screen near the Brewster Whitecap dugout. 0-1 the count on Taylor. But Ozzie Guillen, he had some gems with the media. And part of me also thinks that he sometimes didn't realize what he was saying was so offensive. And that, to me, was part of Ozzie Guillen's charm. Now, granted, he won the 2005 World Series with probably one of the best starting pitching staffs that has been around in the last 15 years in the game.
Yeah.
They had 4 consecutive complete games in the AL Championship Series. 0-1. Taylor skies it to left. On his horse, though, is Lamont Wade. He'll make the catch. Side retired. Brendan will shift over to the WEEI booth for the 4th inning, and you'll get to rejoin us here as we take a break. After 3, tied at 3.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it.
Eight, 9, and 1 due up here for the Brewster Whitecaps against Daniel Lewis, the right-handed pitcher from Pensacola State. We'll get you the numbers on Daniel Lewis since we weren't able to get to them last half inning, friends. Lewis on the season has made 2 appearances, both of them starts, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned, 4 walks. He struck out 6. Lewis, the former rugby player, was in the military for 4 years prior to going to Pensacola State. So Dalton DiNatale steps to the plate. DiNatale had an RBI single back in the second. Kyle Holder shifts over a little bit more towards the third base side. Big hole up the middle. Ashton Parrott shifting to left center field. First pitch on the way from Daniel Lewis. Fastball low and away to the left-handed hitting DiNatale. 1-0 the count. Third baseman from Arizona State. We've seen a lot of Sun Devils so far this season in the league. Brian Serven, R.J. Ibarra, 2 backstops. Ryan Kellogg, a pitcher. Swing and a miss. Pulled a string on him with a changeup. Count to 1-1. DiNatale, slightly open stance, left-handed hitter. Slight waggle of the bat. Rice sets to the outside. 1-1 from Lewis. Misses away. Count to 2-1. Jeff Kinley continues to loosen in the Kettleer bullpen. We will let you know, friends, that Vincent Fiore, the lefty from South Carolina, is the scheduled starter for Game 2. 2-1, bounced in the dirt over the glove of Rice and to the backstop. 3-1 the count. Big gap out in right center field as Logan Taylor is shifted slightly toward the line. The wind and 3-1 from Lewis. High and away. Leadoff walk issued to DiNatale. We'll bring up Scott Kingery. Kingery was called out on bunt interference back in the second, which was a fortunate break for the Kettleers. That was the first out of the inning. To recap that second, Lowry led off with a single. Mazes then hit a single. Lowry went first to third. First pitch called strike to Kingery on the low outside corner, 0-1. Sansone advanced to first on a drop third strike. Scored Luke Lowry. And then DiNatale drove in Travis Mazes. Ball gets away from Ian Rice on the 0-1, advancing to second. On the wild pitch, Dalton DiNatale. Another wild pitch. Whitecaps have a runner at second with nobody out. Here at the top of the fourth. Jackson on the grass at third. Byler a step behind the grass over at first. Now he'll back up and move even with the bag. About 10 steps off of it. 1-1. Breaker misses inside. Count 2-1. On deck is the leadoff man, Braden Bishop. Kingery holds the bat slightly vertical, holds on his shoulder, then bobs it straight up and down, slightly open stance, right-handed hitter. 2-1 on the way from Lewis, fouled straight back. Count even at 2. Lewis got that fastball up to 92. See how long Mike Roberts stays with Daniel Lewis here. So far, command has been a bit of an issue. 4 balls to 3 strikes. 2-2, hit right to the shortstop Holder, picks it up, looks the runner back to second, fires to first. Kingery retired. DiNatale has to stay at second base. Order turns over for Braden Bishop. Bishop 1 for 2, grounded out in the first, 6-3. Singled in the second, but was caught stealing on a dart thrown down by Ian Rice. Only game in action so far, friends. The first game of the early doubleheaders, or the second game I should say, doesn't start until 4 p.m. as Falmouth and Harwich will get going from Arnie Allen Diamond. Chopper on the ground. Jackson comes across, fires over. Retires Braden Bishop. Moving to third is Dalton DiNatale. A high chopper. Jackson cut off the path of Kyle Holder. Momentum going forward, picked it up on a hop. And a nice job to fire it across. To retire, Braden Bishop brings up Lamont Wade. Wade 0 for 1. Has walked and grounded out to second. Big hole up the middle. Caleb Whalen back on the outfield grass at second base. First pitch, fastball 93, right down the middle. Called strike one. Hardest we've seen Daniel Lewis throw all season long, friends. Lewis sets at the belt, looks at third. Kick in the 0-1. Change up in the dirt. Count even at 1-1. Very calm day here at Lowell Park. Yesterday at Red Wilson Field in South Yarmouth, wind was blowing out significantly. And as a result, Red Sox hit 2 home runs, both of them back-to-back, 1-1. Fastball misses low and away. Counts 2-1. On Lamont Wade. Jackson in on the grass at third again. Small lead at first, or at third I should say, for Dalton DiNatale. 2-1. Wade chopped foul down the first base side. Count even at 2-2. Twos across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Game tied at 3. Whitecaps have 6 hits. Kettleers have 4. Neither team has committed an error. 2-2 on the way. Fastball gets away from Ian Rice. Wild pitch coming in to score is Dalton DiNatale. And another wild pitch plates the Whitecaps a run. It's now 4-3 Brewster. Five wild pitches in the past 5 innings, or rather 6 innings of play for the Kettleers. 4 of them have plated runs. 3-2, Scott out of play to the left side. Count remains full. Hard to fathom. Big hole up the middle as Kyle Holder shifted well towards the third base bag. Kick in the 3-2. Fastball misses low and away. 2-out walk for Lamont Wade. We'll bring up Wade Wass.
Wade Wass, number 41, the catcher.
Catcher from Alabama. He's reached twice. Walked in the first, singled to lead off the third. Mike Roberts coming out to the mound. That will do it. Daniel Lewis's day is done. After an inning pitched, he came in, got the final out of the third. Gets the first 2 outs here in the fourth. That will do it. New pitcher in a moment. It's Adam Witt, the subby from Nevada. 4-3 Brewster. We'll be back.
The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Shadow Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Shadow Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
New pitcher for the Kettleers here. It's the Submariner making his 5th appearance, Adam Witt. Witt has not pitched since Wednesday, or rather Tuesday, against the Bourne Braves here from Lowell Park. So Witt, the Submarining right-hander, he got the win in that Tuesday 7-6 game against Bourne. 3 innings pitched. First pitch to Wade Wass, skied out to play to the right side, 0-1 the count. Witt on the season, a 2-0 record, has gotten the statistical win in his last 2 appearances. 8 innings pitched, has not given up a run, has walked 4, struck out 4, and allowed 3 hits. Witt sets the 0-1, fouled straight back. Count to 0-2 on Wade Wass. Witt, it's the first time that he's pitched since his Nevada teammate Austin Byler has arrived. Witt sets at the letters. The 0-2. Fastball misses low and away. 1-2 on Wade Wass. On deck, first baseman from the University of Houston, Justin Montemayor. Righty-righty matchup. Runners going, hit and run. Skied to shallow right. Taylor settles under it. Move to his left, make the catch. And that's the 3rd out of the inning. Damage done. Whitecaps get a run on, guess what, friends? Another wild pitch. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. Kettleers trail 4-3 on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought
6, 7, and 8 due up against Joe McCarthy. Ashton Parrott stands in. Parrott doubled and scored back in the 2nd. Right-handed hitter. Slightly open stance, leaning over the plate. First pitch from Joe McCarthy. Fastball misses low and in for ball 1. Previewing some of the matchups from the other ball games that will be taking place this evening. 1-0, fastball high. 2-0 the count to Ashton Parrott. At 4 p.m., first game of the twin bill between Harwich and Falmouth takes place. Jared Poach will go for the Mariners against Jared Price for the Commodores. 2-0. Parrott chopped foul towards the Kettleers dugout on the third base side. 2-1 the count on the center fielder from Liberty University. 4 p.m. at McKeon Park in Hyannis. Yanni Zayas will go for the Orleans Firebirds against Peter Fairbanks for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. So 4 p.m. start in Hyannis. Wine kicking the 2-1 to Ashton Parrott. Breaking ball high and in. 3-1 the count on Parrott. 4 p.m. start at Doran Park in Bourne. Yarmouth Dennis will send Josh Stomont to the mound against Andrew Sopko for the Bourne Braves. Same pitch on 3-1, change up high and in. Parrott draws a leadoff walk. For the first time today, the Kettleers have the leadoff man aboard. We'll bring up Caleb Whalen.
Number 6.
Spillane Field in Wareham. Only trip that the Chatham Anglers will make to the Wareham Gatemen this season. Pitcher is to be determined for the Anglers. Anthony Kay gets the start for the Wareham Gatemen, the lefty from UConn who the Kettleers saw in a relief appearance on Thursday here at Lowell Park. Whalen shows bunt, bunted foul down the third base side. Third baseman Dalton DiNatale was charging hard from third. Holding on, Ashton Parrott at first is Justin Montemayor. In game 2, set to get start at 5 o'clock, Garrett Mundell goes for the Brewster Whitecaps, and Vincent Fiore will go for the Cotuit Kettleers. And the rest of those matchups for the doubleheader, second games for those will all get started at 7 o'clock. Pickoff to first, back safely, Ashton Parrott. Caleb Whalen struck out in his only plate appearance, but a drop third strike allowed Caleb to advance to first. And eventually scored on a double by Ian Rice. Whalen shows bunt, bunted foul down the first base side. Count to 0-2. Joe McCarthy actually made a sprint for that ball to try and see if he could catch it as the ball was bunted fairly high in the air. DiNatale, even with the bag at third, double play depth at short and second are Mazes and Sansone. 3-step lead at first for Ashton Parrott. Montemayor holding him on. Time called. McCarthy steps off. Whalen steps out of the box. Now everybody's set to go again. McCarthy sets at the letters. 0-2. Whalen, swing and a miss. Pulled the string on him with a 76-mile-an-hour changeup.
Third baseman, number 10.
McCarthy strikes out Whalen for the second time today, although this time Caleb Whalen does not reach base. Brings up Drew Jackson. Jackson does not have an official at-bat, although does have an RBI. Sacrifice fly played to the Kettleers, their second run of the ball game, back in the second. Third baseman from Stanford, slightly open stance, holds the bat on his right shoulder, first pitch swinging, hits it right to the shortstop, Mazes, he bobbles it, it goes into center field, going to third is Ashton Parrott. So an error on Travis Mazes at short puts runners at the corners, but more importantly puts the tying run 90 feet away with less than 2 outs for Ian Rice. So score that E6 as Mazes got a rough hop as the ball scuttled onto the back part of the infield dirt. Chip Dill coming out to the mound has not made a move just yet. There is some action in the Whitecaps bullpen over beyond the right field fence. The entire infield is crowded around here. Ian Rice then goes over and has a chat with Mike Roberts. Dill does not make a move. First and third, 1 out for Ian Rice. Rice, the Chipola Junior College catcher. A double and an RBI. Back in the second scorched one down the left field line. Mazes back near the outfield grass at short. Sansone is shifted towards the second base bag in anticipation of a possible double play. Whitecaps look like they will sacrifice the run coming home from third for the opportunity to get the double play. First pitch to the right-handed hitting Ian Rice. Bunt shown. Rice pulls back as the pitch is in the dirt. Change up at 77. 1-0 the count. So a squeeze attempt put on by head coach Mike Roberts, coaching over at third. 1-0 the count on Rice. Slightly open stance, waggles the bat on his right shoulder. Pick off to third this time. Parrott back safely. Interesting move by Joe McCarthy. Montemayor holding on. Drew Jackson at first. 3-step lead for Jackson. Rice shows bunt again. Parrott sprinting home, but the bunt fouled out of play. Count even at 1-1. So 2 straight suicide squeeze attempts by Ian Rice. Knowing Mike Roberts, he might try it again. 1-1 the count on Rice. McCarthy looks over at first. Montemayor holding on Jackson. McCarthy steps off. Time is called. Wade Wass, the catcher, going to go have a brief chat with Joe McCarthy. McCarthy shares the same name with the famous American politician Joseph McCarthy, who was responsible for a lot of anti-communist acts back in the 1950s. McCarthyism, as the policy was called, pick off the third, just a fake. Di Natale wasn't covering. Joseph McCarthy was responsible for what was called the Red Scare. 1-1, bunt showed again in front of home plate in the dirt. Rice pulls back. Wass recovers the ball. 2-1 the count on Ian Rice. McCarthy's goal was to purge any communist acts that were infiltrating the U.S. government or any traitors that were infiltrating the U.S. government back in the early 1950s, as Joseph Stalin was a big threat to United States national security. Rice shows bunt again, pulls back. Count even at 2 as McCarthy delivers a fastball on the inside corner. Point being, Joe McCarthy shares the same name with probably the most anti-communist politician of the Cold War era, beginning of the Cold War era, here in the United States. Righty-righty matchup. McCarthy sets, gets the sign, and the 2-2. Fastball low, going to second without a throw. Drew Jackson, stolen base. Go-ahead runs at second with 1 out. Whitecaps bring the infield in. Mazes sprints in towards the infield grass, as does John Sansone. 3-2, 1 out, runners at first and second. Payoff on the way to Rice. Fastball misses in for ball 4. Home plate umpire Dan Miller was confused as to what the count was. Chip Dill's coming out to the mound. That's going to do it for Joe McCarthy. This call of the bullpen brought to you by the Fuller Family Foundation. Kettleers have quite an opportunity. Bases loaded, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. New pitcher on, and we'll be back.
Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Kettleers Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
New pitcher is Kansas State right-hander number 29, Levi Mavoris. Mavoris so far this season for the Whitecaps has appeared in 3 games, a .75 ERA over 12 innings pitched, leads all Whitecap pitchers in innings pitched, 8 hits, only 1 run allowed, 9 strikeouts in comparison to 2 walks. First pitch to Brendan Hendricks. Changeup misses low and in for ball 1. Hendricks on the day, 0 for 2 with a pair of ground outs. 1 in the first, 1 in the second. In the stretch, slider at 84. Misses low and in, counts 2-0. Once again, friends, apologize for some of the technical difficulties with our website. Make sure you go to the Kettleers official YouTube channel at Official Kettleers to watch today's ball game. Hendricks hits it through the hole on the right side. Base hit. Parrott scores. Whalen scores. 2 RBI single for Brendan Hendricks. Kettleers retake the lead. It's 5-4 Kettleers. And the hot-hitting Brendan Hendricks continues to have a scorching bat.
From San Diego, number 22, Kyle Holder.
Corrections, Drew Jackson that scores. As he was on second base, 5-4 Kettleers. Brings up Kyle Holder. Ian Rice stands at second base. First pitch to Holder, chopped in front. Mavoris picks it up, fires to first. Retires Holder on 1 pitch. Moving up to second, Brendan Hendricks. And moving to third, Ian Rice. 2 outs for Austin Byler.
From the University of Nevada, number 18, Austin Byler.
Byler has already left the yard today. Solo shot in the first. Struck out swinging in the third. Kettleers broadcast booth at gmail.com if you'd like to get in touch with us. And John Altabelli, Chip Dill, and Levi Mavoris are taking no risks. They are putting Byler on intentionally. His intentional ball 2 goes outside. Probably a smart move considering that Austin Byler is hitting the cover off the ball right now. He has come to the league with an extremely hot bat. They don't want to mess with him. Mavoris at Kansas State, college teammates with Orleans Firebird of 2013, Ross Kivett. Kivett was a fan favorite out in Orleans and was the leadoff man for the Firebirds for most of the season in 2013. Was one of the reasons why Orleans got to the Cape League Championship Series. Jameson Fisher stands in. He's 1 for 2. Grounded out to second base in the first and singled in the third. First pitch breaking ball from Mavoris. Catches the low inside corner for strike one. Righty-lefty matchup. Fisher stands in. Pitch on the way from Mavoris. Curveball, strike two called. So 0-2 on Jamison Fisher. Mavoris, in his fourth appearance, has been stellar for the Whitecaps. 0-2 misses low. 1-2 on Jamison Fisher. Logan Taylor stands on deck for the Kettleers. Rice at third. Hendricks at second. 1-2 on the way. Fastball low and away. Count even at 2. Make sure you join us 30 minutes after this ball game, friends. Approximate start time, 5 o'clock for Game 2 of this doubleheader. 2 7-inning ball games. We're in the bottom of the fourth. 2-2 gets away from Wade Wass. Sprinting home is Ian Rice. Moving to third is Brendan Hendricks. And moving to second, Austin Byler. 6-4 Katuitt. Another wild pitch. Scores another run. 6-4 Kettleers. And this is the type of rally that Katuitt needed. Kettleers have had 2 crooked numbers today. 2 runs in the second. 3 runs here so far in the fourth. Payoff pitch to Fisher. Looped out to shallow left. On his horse, though, is Lamont Wade. He'll make the catch and retire the side. But not before the Kettleers retake the lead. They strike for 3. We're through 4 at Lowell Park. Brendan will be back for the 5th. Kettleers lead 6-4 on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletics Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years.
Top of the 5th, Adam Witt out for his first full inning of work. Heart of the order due up. Justin Montemayor, Luke Lowry, and Travis Mazes due up here against Adam Witt. Righty-lefty matchup. Infield is back. Kettleers need a shutdown inning. First pitch bunt attempt by Montemayor. Goes into the Kettleer dugout. 0-1 the count. On the first baseman from the University of Houston. The Houston Cougars. Witt sets. The 0-1. Curveball misses low and away. 1-1 the count on Montemayor. Whenever I think of the University of Houston, I always think of that incident where Lee Corso, during a college game day pick'em with Houston and SMU, 1-1, fastball low and away, 2-1 the count, decided to drop a curse word on the air while picking Houston to beat SMU.
It's never a good thing to do.
2-1. Fastball catches the low inside corner, even the count at 2-2. Quarterback for that Houston team was Case Keenum, who now plays with the Houston Texans, and the coach, current Texas A&M coach, Kevin Sumlin.
Someone still has their job.
2-2, sliced foul. Count remains at 2-2 to Montemayor, who's 0 for 2 on the ball game. Grounded into an inning-ending double play in the first. 6-4-3 on the score. Popped out to Kyle Holder for the first out of the third. Payoff for the 2-2 from Witt. Slice fouled on the left field line. Count even at 2-2. Remember, Carl Lewis was the guest picker that day. He ran track at the University of Houston. I watched a lot of College Game Day when I was younger. It's kind of a Saturday morning obsession.
See, my Saturday morning obsession was Rugrats.
2-2. Curve misses high and away. Count goes to full 3-2. Looks like we had very different childhoods, Brendan. I liked watching college football pregame shows, and you liked watching Tommy Pickles. Payoff. Chopped in the infield. Whalen plays it on a couple of hops. Flips to Byler at first. Montemayor retired for the third time today.
You're making it sound like I don't even like sports. Like, I mean, my dad was not a big college sports fan growing up, and I think did not sound biased or, being boastful about being a New England sports fan. The only pro football team I had to worry about was the New England Patriots because of the success of the early 2000s. College
First
football.
pitch, Luke Lowry, chopped foul down the third base side.
So
0-1 the count.
College football was never really a thing. Matt Ryan, when he played for BC, was something I always wanted to watch because he was just so great before he got picked by the Atlanta Falcons. But early on, growing up, 8, 9, 10, I tuned into some Ruggies, man. When they went to Paris, when Dill Pickles was born.
They went wild with the wild Thornberries.
That's right.
0-1. Sweeping breaking ball. Misses high and away. Count even at 1-1 on Luke Lowry, the designated hitter from East Carolina. Battery mates with 9th overall pick Jeff Hoffman, who played for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks last season. 1-1, swing and a miss. Fastball low and in, fouled into the glove. Count to 1-2. Those Matt Ryan teams are also the end of good BC football.
Yeah. I mean, last year with Andre Smith.
I think Andre Williams,
yes.
1-2, hit right to Austin Byler at first. He's going to have to sprint to the bag. Sprinting down the first base line is Luke Lowry, but Byler gets there first. 2 gone in the 5th.
I'd have to agree. Andre Williams had a big year, but it hasn't been the same. Steve Adazio, the new head coach over at Boston College, this past season. And the Eagles got themselves into a bowl game. Not sure how they fared, but they went 6-4 at one point. Finished up, I think, 6-6.
First pitch on the way to Travis Mazes. Strike at the knees, 0-1 on the University of Michigan shortstop.
We'll have to chat it up with some of the Chatham Anglers next time we're out there. A lot of BC players play for Chatham.
0-1. Skied out of the play to the left side. It's funny you bring that up, not to correct you. You said the next time we're out there, well, we don't go there again. Because of this doubleheader system, our one trip to Chatham last Sunday, barring an barring an appearance in the Cape League Championship game, only time will be at Veterans Field this season. 0-2 just missed.
That's a good point.
Look,
well,
the catch
maybe
goes
when they
to-
come
outside
here,
corner.
when they come to Lowell Park.
1-2 the count on Mazes. Mazes, part of the Maize and Blue. 1-2, fouled into the chest protector of Ian Rice. Dan Miller goes out and tosses Adam Wood a new baseball. The Mazes in Blue, they could probably call him as well.
You know, it's helpful, too, when you have the Mariner green to go along with it. Adds a little spice to the uniforms for the Brewster Whitecaps.
Mazes waggles the bat. The left-handed hitter, 1-2. Bring him up, strike 3 called. Sweeping curve. Mazes gone looking. We're through 4.5 at Lowell Park. Kettleers lead 6-4 here in the first game of this doubleheader. 2 7-inning ball games. We'll be back on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee Channel 99 and Channel 13 Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary, a Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
Logan Taylor steps to the plate. 5-6-7, due up for the Kettleers against Levi Mavoris, who came in relief of Joe McCarthy. First pitch, swing and a miss. Slide piece. 0-1 the count on Logan Taylor. Taylor 0 for 2, popped out to second to lead off the second, and flew out to left to end the third. Righty-righty matchup. Chopped foul on the 0-1 in front of the plate. Taylor down on the count 0-2, and he looked to have fouled that one off of his left ankle. Taylor appears to be all right. Numbers on the season at Kansas State for Levi Mavoris. A 3.95 ERA, a 6-7 record, 13 starts over 15 appearances, 84 and a third innings pitched. He had 2 complete games, both of them shutouts. An opponent's batting average of .259, 48 walks in comparison, or 14 strikeouts in comparison to 40. 1-2 taken low to Taylor. 48 strikeouts in comparison to 14 walks. Well, get that right.
Don't include me on that.
I'll get that right. 1-2. Breaking ball inside. Count even at 2-2.
You know, Greg, I just looked it up here. For the Kettleers, last inning, they scored 3 runs. They've only done that one other time, at least score 3 runs in an inning. That was back in the bottom of the third against the Bourne Braves here at Lowell Park.
2-2. Scott out of play to the right side. Count even at 2-2.
So big monster innings offensively have not been normal, and Mike Roberts using the wave sign to home plate hasn't been used quite often that much in an inning like we just saw here today.
It's been a situation today where it's been a back and forth ball game. 2-2 to Logan Taylor. Fastball low and away. Count goes to full, 3-2. To recap the scoring for you, friends, Kettleers started it with a solo shot by Austin Byler in the bottom of the first. Whitecaps then came back with 3 in the top of the second. Kettleers tied it up again with 2 in the bottom of the second. Taylor chops the 3-2 to the charging shortstop Mazes, picks it up, fires across. Just gets Logan Taylor by a step and a half. Taylor retired. He's 0 for 3. Brings up Ashton Parrott. Then the Whitecaps retook the lead on a wild pitch in the top of the fourth. That made it 4-3 Brewster. And then the Kettleers struck back for 3 runs in the bottom of the fourth. So the Kettleers have 1 failed shutdown inning today. The Whitecaps have 2. First pitch to Ashton Parrott, chopped foul in the Kettleer dugout. On the third base side, 0-1 the count. To the center fielder from Liberty. Parrott has reached base twice. 1 for 1, doubled and scored in the second, walked and scored in the fourth. Right-handed hitter, slightly open stance. Softly hit ground ball. Di Natale picks up a third, fires across. Parrott's retired. We'll bring up Caleb Whalen. Whalen has struck out twice, although did score because of the drop third strike back in the second. Apologies, friends, that I said that on the single by Brendan Hendricks that Whalen scored. That's not correct. It was Drew Jackson who scored. First pitch swinging. Skied to center. Braden Bishop settles under it, makes the catch. Kettleers go 1-2-3. We're through 5 at Lowell Park. Kettleers 6 outs away from snapping their 4-game losing streak. We'll head to the top of the 6th. 6-4, Katuitt.
Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. The Kettleers and Katuitt Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees.
Bottom of the order due up for the Whitecaps against Adam Witt. John Sansone stands in. Second baseman from Florida State. College teammates with Golden Spikes Award winner DJ Stewart. First pitch from Adam Witt, fastball low and in for ball 1. Who was a YD Red Sox in 2013. And Jameis Winston. Swing and a miss. Fastball at 85 from Adam Witt. Count even at 1 on Sansone.
Also
struck out and scored.
Teammates with Brandon Liebrandt and Jose Brizuela, former Brewster Whitecaps.
1-1 high and away. Count to 2-1. Sweeping curve at 74. Two-1, chopped in front of the plate. Full plate umpire Dan Miller says it's a foul ball, screams it emphatically. Count even at 2. Kettleers were victim in the second game of the season to a 2-out, 2 RBI triple by another Florida State player, Ben DeLuzio, that gave the Hyannis Harbor Hawks a 6-5 lead. 2-2, chopped to Austin Byler. Witt has to cover, and he does successfully. Score that one 3-1, friends. Sansone's retired. Brings up Dalton Dinatale.
It's good fundamentals. We've seen this play multiple times tonight. The first baseman having to flip to first. Seen 4 plays combined on both ends where the first baseman and pitcher have had interaction.
Left-handed hitting Dinatale has yet to be retired today. First pitch fastball at the knees on the inside. 0-1 the count on the Arizona State third baseman. Singled and drove in a run. Back in the second. Walked and scored on a wild pitch. In the fourth, 0-1, fouled off towards the Whitecap dugout. 0-2 on Dinatale. Drew Jackson in on the grass at third. Big gap out in right center. 0-2, fastball low and away. Count to 1-2.
It's a good pitch, though, from Witt. Of course, 0-2, you want to stay off the plate, to lefties especially, far and outside. And his arm slot has to be difficult for a left-handed hitter.
1-2, swing and a miss. Fastball low and away. Pumped it up to 87, which is hard for Witt, who's a submariner. 2 gone for Scott Kingery. Kingery 0 for 2. Out on an interference call on the second. Grounded out to short in the fourth. Caleb Whalen back on the outfield grass at second. Holder shifted towards the third base bag. First pitch high and away to Kingery for ball 1. As we mentioned earlier, friends, this is the only game in action right now. All 4 games yet to be started will start at 4 o'clock. 1-0, hit past Drew Jackson at third. It deflects into foul ground. More than likely will score that an infield single. And they do.
Number 4, Braden Bishop, the center fielder from Washington.
So that's the 4th hit of the ball game. Correction, 7th hit of the ball game. I can't do math. Whitecaps have a runner on. It brings a tying run to the plate in the form of Braden Bishop. Bishop 1 for 3. Pair of ground outs and a single. Right-hander waves the bat. Witt sets. Byler holds on. Kingery. First pitch high and away for ball 1.
And for Adam Witt, Greg, I know you like to allude to shutdown innings. This isn't necessarily one, but with a 2-run lead later in this game, you have the right guy on the mound to send your team right back to the dugout.
1-0. Fastball at the knees on the outer half of the plate. Count even at 1-1. Game 2 is set to start at approximately 5 o'clock, although if this game gets done before 4:30, they will hopefully start it earlier. 1-1. Fouled into the glove. Count to 1-2 on Kingery. Drew Jackson about 2 steps off of the third base bag at third and even with the bag on the dirt. Byler holds on Kingery at first. Kingery a 3-step lead. 1-2, chopped over the head of Witt. Holder charges, picks it up on the run, fires across. In time to retire Bishop. 2-out single for the Whitecaps. They do nothing with it. Head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Kettleers lead this one 6-4 on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Barnstable Mashpee 99 and 13 Sandwich.
Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleeers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleeers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it.
Brown, Stanford.
8-9-1 due up for the Kettleeers here against Levi Mavoris. Mavoris out for his second full inning of work. Drew Jackson stands in. Jackson's had a good day. First pitch swinging. Skies it down the left field line, giving chases Di Natale and the shortstop Travis Mazes. Neither of them able to make the play as it falls in foul ground. Jeff Kinley continues to loosen for the Kettleeers along with Vince Fiore, who is the scheduled starter for Game 2. Assume he is getting his warm-up tosses in early. Wouldn't be surprised if Adam Witt goes back out and finishes this ball game off. Big gap out in right center. Braden Bishop shifted well to the left. 0-1. Breaking ball inside. Count even at 1 on Drew Jackson. Jackson was on SportsCenter's top 10 plays earlier in the year in a Stanford, Texas game. 1-1 offering. Jackson skies it. Shallow center. Sansone goes back on it. About 2 steps onto the outfield grass. Second baseman makes the catch. Jackson retired. Brings up Ian Rice.
Mavoris has settled down a bit. He's retired 5 in a row. And this game is not out of reach for Brewster. They have an opportunity to come to the plate in the 7th. And if the Kettleeers don't get any runs here, it's still a 2-run game. Based on how this game has gone, we've seen everything, Greg. And it wouldn't surprise me if Brewster put itself in a situation where it could maybe tie the ball game.
First pitch, breaking ball inside to Ian Rice, 1-0 the count. Well, the Chipola College junior catcher has had himself quite a day. Rice chops it foul down the third base side. Count even at 1-1. Rice has doubled and driven in a run. He's also walked and scored. So Rice 1 for 1, an RBI and a run scored. Slightly open stance. 1-1 offering. Swing and a miss. Slider on the inside corner. Rice swings right over it. 1-2 the count. The wind kick in the 1-2. Hit hard to left field. Going back on it is Wade. Wade, it gets over his head and bounces over the fence for a ground rule double. Ian Rice is an animal today.
2 doubles to left field. The first one that he hit back in the second inning was down the left field line, a couple steps to the right of the left field foul line here at Lowell Park. And this second one smoked to the left side, but through center and left field in a one-hop over the fence. Ian Rice really struggled offensively early on this season. Not much playing time, playing behind Jamison Fisher and Casey Schroeder. A one-out base runner in the 6th.
First pitch, swing and a miss. Hendricks swings right over a curveball. 0-1 the count, but Brendan Hendricks 1 for 3 on the ball game. And 2 huge runs batted in that gave the Kettleeers a 5-4 lead in the bottom of the 4th. 0-1 to Hendricks. Sky to center field. Going back on it is Bishop. Bishop is at the wall. It's over its head. It bounces to the base of the fence. Rounding third is Ian Rice. Rice scores. Another RBI for Brendan Hendricks. Kettleeers extend their lead. It's now 7-4 Cotuit here in the bottom of the 6th.
Back-to-back RBI situations for Brendan Hendricks. And Greg, I was just on the air with WEEI moments ago, and I told them on the broadcast, and I'm sure you may have mentioned this, Brendan Hendricks, the bases loaded for the Kettlewick Kettleers this year, was 0 for 2 heading into that at bat. Remember this scenario he was in against Orleans a couple of games ago with 2 outs as a pinch hitter. Was retired, and now Richard Carthon's going to pinch run for him at second base. Comes up in another spot where, if you're Kettlewick, you want to keep your foot on the gas. Carry some momentum in Game 2 to keep this offensive roll going. Hendricks has been the spark plug, and timing is everything. Coach Roberts putting him in the leadoff spot may have been the best decision for today's games.
Hendricks, 3 RBIs on the ball game, and the University of San Francisco first baseman, left fielder, DH, wherever you want to put him, swinging the hottest bat of anybody on the Kettleers. First pitch, breaking ball taken for a strike. From the low outside corner to Kyle Holder. Holder 0 for 3. Pair of ground outs and a flyout. But I was listening to Coach Roberts before the game. Mavoris sets the 0-1. Holder lays down a bunt. Right to Mavoris, picks it up, fires across. Holder retired. 1-3 for the second consecutive at bat. Carthon moves over to third. 2 outs for Austin Byler. And he said the only guy who is keeping his hand on the ball, the only guy who's keeping his head on the ball is Brendan Hendricks. Said he wasn't letting go of the bat. He was staying through the ball, and the stats prove it. Yesterday, when Kettlewick struggled offensively, Hendricks still went 2 for 4. Here's Austin Byler. First pitch. Curve in the dirt. 1-0 on the Kettleers slugging first baseman from Nevada.
It's almost like Coach Roberts designed today's lineup based on recent productivity. Kyle Holder, a 3-hit game, now in the 2-hole, who's batted 8th or 9th most of the time. That's what it comes down to with Coach Roberts, is if you're fundamentally sound and you're putting in practice the things that he's trying to preach, then you're going to get the nod in the lineup or on the mound.
1-0, chop foul off of the left shin protector of Wade Wasp behind the plate. Count even at 1 on Austin Byler. Vince Fiore continues to loosen for the Kettlewick Kettleers. He will start game 2. 1-1 offering to Byler. Byler hits it right to the shortstop Mazes. Mazes bobbles it, hits off of his chest, throw across in time to get Austin Byler a bang-bang play. But the Kettleers add to their lead on another RBI. 3 on the day for Brendan Hendricks. We'll head to the top of the 7th, the last inning here in these 7-inning doubleheader ball games. Kettleers going to try and close out game 1 of the Twin Bill. Keep it locked right here.
The Kettleers and Kettlewick Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by Cape Cod Healthcare. Care where you need it, when you need it. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years. Today's broadcast is proudly sponsored in part by Curry College, located in Milton, Massachusetts. It offers undergraduate and graduate degrees. Chatham Bars Inn is a leading sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, celebrating its 100th anniversary. A Cape League sponsor for over 20 years. The Kettleers and Kettlewick Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank. Today's broadcast is brought to you in part by iHealth Services, proud sponsor of the Cape League for 14 years.
Adam Witt on to close out the ball game. Lamont Wade, Wade Wass, and Justin Montemayor, 2-3-4 due up against the Kettleers Submariner from the University of Nevada. had a chance to meet Adam Witt's grandparents on Wednesday at Doran Park in Bourne. First pitch, fastball down Broadway, taken by Lamont Wade for a strike. 0-1 the count on the left fielder from the University of Maryland. 0-1, sky to shallow left. Carthon, who comes in defensively after pinch running for Brendan Hendricks, makes the catch. 1 out on 2 pitches.
Catcher from Alabama, number 41. Wade.
Brings up Wade Wass. Wass walked in the first, singled in the third, flew out to right in the fourth. So if the score holds, Brewster will have one more opportunity to get a win at Lowell Park, or else they will not have a win going into next season in 10 years here in Cotuit. First pitch, it's a breaking ball that misses low and in for ball 1. That's a stat that's just mind-boggling to me.
It's 18 games, Greg. 18.
1-0, chopped right back to Adam Witt. Picks it up, glove hand, flips to first. 2 gone. But remember, friends, still one more game to go here today. Garrett Mundell, the right-hander from Fresno State, will go for the Whitecaps. And Vince Fiore, the lefty from South Carolina, will go for the Kettleers.
And Adam Witt right now has retired 9 of 10 batters since checking into the game in the top of the 4th. She's been shut down innings right now.
First pitch, called strike on the outside to Justin Montemayor. 0-1 the count on the Whitecap first baseman. 0 for 3 on the ballgame, friends. Pair of groundouts, including a double play that ended a Whitecap threat in the first. Fouled out of play, hits off of a bicycle, and the kids sprint towards the batting cages to try and get that foul ball.
Don't forget, foul ball is sponsored by Cape Cod Liquors.
We're not encouraging drinking on this broadcast. This is a family affair. 0-2, hit back into the screen. Count remains 0-2.
Hey, at least we're both of age, right? At least that's something we can have on record.
For those who are watching or listening at home, Brendan and I are both 21. We're not breaking any rules here. 0-2, swing and a miss. That's the ball game. The Kettleers' 4-game losing streak is gone, and the same man who got the victory in the Kettleers' last win here on Tuesday against Bourne picks up the W here today. Adam Witt gets his 3rd win of the season, and the Kettleers improve to 5-6. They take Game 1 of the Twin Bill by a 7-4 final.
I mean, again, this is a game in which they did things they've been trying to get done all year. You know, think of it that way. And Mike Roberts just got the announcement, 4:40. The start time for game number 2 here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. But Greg, you got the big hit to me. That second inning to tie the game, in which Ashton Parrott got a double, Caleb Whalen was able to score on a drop third strike. Ian Rice drove them both in after those 2 plays, tied the game, and then Brewster took the lead back in the 4th. But then you come right back in that same inning and get 3 runs to take the lead. The Kettleers responded in both innings in which they lost a lead or they were behind in the game. Tied it up in the 3rd, took the lead in the 4th, despite Brewster scoring runs in each of those innings. And I should say the 2nd and 4th innings. So, bottom line, they came back and fought against adversity from the previous half inning, which shows some heart.
Whitecaps 0 for 2 in shutdown innings today. That's the most important stat. The Whitecaps took the lead, like you said, in the 2nd and 4th innings respectively, and in neither bottom half of the frame were they able to hold it. And that's the key. In the 2nd inning, they allowed the Kettleers to tie the ball game, and in the 4th, they allowed the Kettleers to take the lead. And that, to me, and you even mentioned it here on the broadcast, this is the most resilient that the Kettleers have been all season long offensively, losing a lead twice and being able to come back and earn probably the hardest fought W of the season. That to me is something special. So, again, the final 7-4, the Kettleers win. Winning pitcher is Adam Witt. The loser is Joe McCarthy. We will take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have the Kettleers Insider Intermission Report, and then Brendan Glasheen will have lineups and first pitch for you of Game 2 of this twin bill between Brewster and Cotuit. Again, the pitching matchup for Game 2. Jackson McClelland, that's not correct. Garrett Mundell for the Brewster Whitecaps, the righty from Fresno State. And the lefty from South Carolina, Vince Fiore, will go for the Kettleers. Thanks again for tuning in to Game 1. Again, remember, stay tuned for Game 2 here on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network, Barnstable Mashpee Channel 99 and Channel 13, Sandwich. Stay tuned, friends.
The Kettleers and Cotuit Athletic Association want to welcome Bank of Cape Cod as a premium sponsor and member of the Executive Kettleers Club. Bank of Cape Cod is a locally owned and managed commercial and community bank.